1. So, I work at one of the top Japanese restaurants here in the city, and on Friday and Saturday nights, we always do over 300 to 350 covers, and it gets incredibly busy. It's a fusion of Japanese modern with a funky twist. It's a lot of fun and I love my job. I work at the front desk, and we get all types of people coming in and lying about their reservation, and this hits its peak on Friday and especially Saturday nights. So it's a Saturday night and it's already really busy. I'm handling the guest in front of me, and when I finish, the next set of guests walk forward. I greet and welcome them, ask if they have any reservations. They tell me they had a reservation for Jenny. I look at the guests and see there are 4 of them. I advise them that the reservation for 7:45 was for 2 people and not 4. And he told me that he booked for 4. I asked him if he had a text message confirmation, as when they booked, they get a confirmation straight away. He said he didn't receive one. Red flag 1. I advised him that unfortunately we didn't have any tables available for 4, only for 2. It was so busy, there was no room anywhere for me to build another table of 4 from the trees outside. I literally had no tables of 4. Everything was booked out. He said that he booked for 4, and then I suggested if he liked, he could try and see if there is a seat available in the lounge, as you can order the same menu there. He turns around to talk to everyone and then turns back to me. I told him the reservation was under the lady's name, so perhaps she received the confirmation. She comes into the conversation now. She looks at her phone, checks and sees no confirmation, or pretends to anyway, then said, "Why would I book for 2 if I come with 4 people? I wouldn't have booked a table for 2, then come with 4 people." To which I said, unfortunately, we only have it here for 2. Then her partner, who has the audacity to say the most douchebag comment I've ever heard in my life, he opens his mouth and makes the offhanded comment, "This doesn't happen at Nobu." Now I wanted to projectile vomit in my mouth at this fucking douchebag comment. I bit my tongue and asked him where Nobu was to see if he knew. He said place X. I just wanted to shake my head. Someone who actually went to Nobu would never say this. I just rolled my eyes to the end of the universe. I can tell the people that would dine in a fine dining establishment like that, and I knew these people were just not it. I got really pissed that he made a comment like that, to throw me off so that I would scuffle under pressure and find a table for them so we could be like Nobu. Like, no, screw you. I told him that their reservation was made at 5 p.m., and at that time there was no way in this world we would have any tables available for 4. No way in the world. Our reservations team would have at most taken the last few reservations at 12 p.m. for this amount of guests, but not at 5 p.m., half an hour before our restaurant opened. So I then said, if you're happy to wait, I can call the reservations team and they can listen to the recording. And if they say that it's for 4, then I will organize something for you. Then the girl replies, "But what if they say no?" Red flag 2. I said, then you're able to see what spaces we have available in the lounge. Or you can try the other restaurants that we have. They walked away, and the very same couple that I was talking to came back and then said, "We'll take the table for 2. Checkmate. 2. Oh my god, guys. I had the most insane customer I've ever had in all my 6 years of hospitality. And I'm still completely blown away. I'm not a server, but work as a cook and server in an open kitchen fish and chip shop in Australia. Me, CC, crazy customer, CW co-worker. To set the scene, my place of work is casual fast food. It's popular with locals and tourists who want a fish and chip fix. It's relaxed. We could greet our customers saying, "G'day mate, how you doing?" and other casual Australian slang. It's laid-back coastal Australia. A sour 30-something woman, who will be known as CC from now on, comes into our small shop and stomps to the register to order. "Hi, how are you? Can I help you?" CC looked like she'd been sucking a lemon since birth. She squints her eyes and spits out, "I want chips." "Okay, what size?" "Extra small." Now my co-worker can smell a bitch a mile away and can handle them with a smile. She won't let this get to her. "Sure, this is your title, here's your ticket number." Cece pays for her food, then tells my coworker,
"Why do I need a number? It's just chips."
Cece proceeds to grab her ticket, scrunch it up and throw it on the counter, and stalks outside for a minute. All of our workers shared a look of, holy fuck, this woman is rude, but oh no. How innocent we were in that moment. We put her order on and we continue working and packing up the store so we can get out in time. Cece comes stomping back in and looks me in the eye with her sour lemon face and demands to know where her chips are. It's been at least 1 minute by now. It's not ready yet.
"Why not?"
Well, it's still cooking. Cece proceeds to stomp and sigh and roll her eyes and walks out. Okay, sis, chill out. I have my back to the storefront as I'm busy cooking food and making sure nothing burns. Whilst cooking, I turn and look behind my shoulder, and she's standing right at the registers behind me. Catching me off guard, I spin around and say, "Yo!" like a moron. Cece does not like this. Smiling like a canary, she purses her lips whilst looking me in the eyes and says,
"Is that how you greet customers?"
I'm caught like a deer in the headlights. Cece smirks and steps to the other side of the store after that serious burn. I shake it off, and go to the counter and start passing out orders that are finished. I call out number 4 as Cece sighs and rolls her eyes and yells out,
"Number 4? You're done?"
The customer collects it, and Cece's order is now ready to be packed and called out. Since she didn't think to collect her number and thought it would be better to throw it on the counter back at us, I couldn't resist calling her number first. Amazing. She's standing there and doesn't realize she's done. About half a minute later, I go on to ask her, "Hey, what did you order again?"
"Chips!"
"Okay, here's your order." Cece snatched her chips, takes it to the self-serve salt station, try saying that 10 times fast, and proceeds to throw the salt containers at the wall. Whilst this is going on, I've started serving new customers. In the middle of their new order, she comes back to the register, leans over the new customers, looks me dead in the eyes and says,
"I'm never coming back to this shithole again,"
and stomps out the store whilst kicking a table on her way. The whole store freezes, all soaking in whatever the loving fuck that all was. My customers, God bless their hearts, continue ordering and place their order in. When their food was done, they came to collect it and joked around saying,
"And we'll come back. Do you mind if we throw the salt around too?"
Never a dull moment working in hospitality. 3. This happened around November in 2018. Backstory. I work in a local pub in the UK. This happened on a Sunday. So today was going to be busy. Also, our manager had injured his foot from the night before, so he was out of action. At the time, we were so understaffed as well. I also have autism and I'm bad at confrontation. It's a Sunday afternoon. No manager, understaffed, Christmas season, people arriving. Sadly, the show had to go on. The head of the kitchen volunteered to take the role of manager. He ordered me and my co-worker, Jay, to be on the floor. Clean tables, bring dirty dishes to the sink, reset table, you know. Me and Jay were doing our jobs for a while, until the entitled customer called me over. Small side note. This pub provided counter service and we have 3 tills, but one was being used. This caused a long queue of about 10 people. Entitled customer was the 8th in line. Back to the story. EC calls me over. I go and ask, "Is everything alright?" In a very annoyed tone, he replies with,
"Why is there only one person on the bar? Can you go on the bar?"
I explain that I cannot work on the bar because I'm not qualified yet. In a more annoyed tone,
"Well, can you just go find someone who can serve on the bar?"
I immediately go into the kitchen and call out if anyone can help out on the bar. Another of my co-workers can, but he'll take a few minutes as he's waiting to serve food. I have basically just done what this person has asked me to do. As I'm walking back to EC, I'm expecting to be thanked and return to my work. I was dead wrong. After I explain the co-worker will be working on the bar in a few minutes, this guy starts lecturing me like I was a manager.
"This is really irresponsible. It's busy today. There should be more than one person on the bar. Have you seen this line? I'm waiting to be served."
As he's ranting on, I just stood there, taken aback, surprised. I didn't know what to say. I never deal with these kinds of people. Suddenly I hear a loud, "Oi!" coming from the left. Me and EC turn to look. I see a man and woman, who I assume are a couple, sitting on tables less than 5 feet away. They both have a disgusted look on their face. I'll call this hero Cool Guy, or CG. Stop having a go at her.
What?
Stop having a go at her.
What? I'm not having a go at her.
Yes, you are. You're shouting at her. Feeling more stressed and overwhelmed as the two men kept arguing, I saw this as an opportunity to retreat back into the kitchen. When I got there, I started to breathe quicker and heavier. The head of the kitchen noticed this and asked what's wrong. I explained the situation to him. He tells me to calm down before I resume work. 5 minutes later, I've cooled down and drank some water. I step out of the kitchen and onto the floor. The two men were still arguing, back and forth. Cool Guy was defending me. It's not her fault or responsibility. She's not the manager. Entitled Customer stood there with his arms crossed, still not admitting his fault. I don't remember much after that. Eventually, had Entitled Customer backed down at some point and returned to a shorter line. Feeling like the confrontation was my fault, I just wanted to keep my head down and return to work. I wish I had thanked Cool Guy for standing up for me. Cool Guy, if you're out there and hearing this, I just want to say thanks. 4. Guys, this was so fun. So yesterday I had a young couple come in during the lunch rush. They seemed nice enough, ordered an appetizer. Then she got a salad and he got the grilled salmon. More of a dinner entree. I bring their apps, all is good. They polish it off pretty quickly. Entrees come out and the salmon especially looks beautiful. Chef actually says as he hands it to me that he thinks it's the nicest looking grilled salmon he's ever made. And I have to agree. I go back to ask how everything is, and she's working on her salad, but he's only really touching his sides, as maybe taking one bite of the fish. They both say everything's great though. I walk by a few more times and he's still only taken a bite or two of the salmon. I should have pressed the issue, but it was busy and he's eaten a lot with the app and sides, so I'm thinking he's just getting full. I have their bill in my apron and I come around the corner and drop it off and see if they need a to-go box. And instead find the hostess clearing their table. I ask her where they went and she looks uncomfortable and points to the table. There's a note written on a napkin and a crumpled pile of cash. The note says,
"Waitress was nice. Food was disgusting."
And the cash amounts to $11, less than their check total. They might not have known this since they didn't stick around long enough to see the check, but still. So I gather everything up and go to show it to the shift supervisor, who shakes her head and says, hang on, she'll ask the GM, who was in the kitchen at the time, what she wants to do. Meanwhile, one of the other servers said she used to work with the girl at the table and texts her asking what the deal was. She responds, we were just in a hurry, must have done my math wrong. I'll drop off some more cash. Okay. Luckily I was standing by the hostess podium when the guy from the couple walks back in. He very carefully avoids both the hostess and myself, as he sidesteps in the door and makes a beeline for his table, sees it's clean and empty, and turns back to the front where I'm standing. He holds out a $20 bill and mutters,
"I owe you this,"
clearly embarrassed. I say thanks for coming back, and by the way, if you weren't happy with the food, we would have been happy to replace it, or take it off your bill.
"Well, I just felt bad saying it."
Okay, but you didn't feel too bad to write a snarky note and sneak out. Well, that's why we ask after you get your food, to make sure you're enjoying it. Like I said, there's a lot I could have done if I'd known.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Now you do. This whole exchange, I kept up my kindergarten teacher voice and biggest customer service smile, while the dude just stared at the floor and turned maroon. He looks around and awkwardly shuffles back out the door at this point. I know this was such a small interaction, but we all know how shitty it feels to be stiffed, especially for something that isn't your fault. So to have him come back and face me was just the most vindicating feeling. Plus it was fun to just be extra sugar sweet about it and watch him cringe in embarrassment. Anywho, thanks for listening. I hope this put a smile on your face because it certainly did mine. 5. I work in a brewery, so as you might expect, we serve beer. I love working there. I was a regular for years before I came aboard, and I'm so happy to have found such an amazing place. Co-workers and 99% of the customers are amazing. Last night was probably the worst shift I've ever had in terms of my performance as a server. Every Wednesday night we have live music, local bands with a good chunk of them playing regularly. The band is located towards the back of the restaurant, where they take the place of our big round table. There are still tables in that section. Every Wednesday night, friends and family of the band come and listen, which is fantastic. I love seeing enthusiastic supporters of local artists. As you may assume, they usually sit in the section where the band plays. The drawbacks, sometimes those people camp. Sometimes just order a loaf of pani and a glass of water for their 3-hour stay. I can never hear customers unless I am working on the mezzanine, as live music is pretty damn loud. We also have to rotate seating servers from the 2 closest sections, so if you are in the high tops, you usually have a section and a half, for better or for worse. Sometimes a party of 6 is actually a party of 4 adults and 8 kids. As it may be inferred from the last sentence, that's what happened last night. 14 people took over the section's remaining tables, and then congealed with a 6th top already there. Apparently they all knew the band. The server for the 6th top didn't want to take the 14, which is understandable, but it definitely didn't make it easier on either of us. I got the beers in for the last 2 adults, as they straggled in after the others. 5 of the kids wailed for water as I walked away, so I broke out a trusty tray. Lock and load, here we go, back to the table. I bust out the excuse my reach to adults with the beers, so they knew I carried their malt and hop concoctions. I start the hand off. I have carried more drinks for larger parties without a hitch countless times. Alas, this time, tragedy struck. Perhaps the tray betrayed me. Perhaps it was the kids suddenly interjecting with a request for more lemonade, thus diverting my gaze to locate which kid said it. Perhaps I just fucked up. The rest of the drinks just cascaded onto a mother's back. There was an glass-shattering sound. Everyone was silent, except for the band. To the band's credit, they didn't miss a beat. A host and fellow servers flocked to my rescue. The glass swept up, the beers dried, and apologies issued. The mother wasn't as soaked as I feared, and her husband used the napkins I provided to dry it off. We got replacement beers out within a minute of the incident. Huzzah! This put me pretty solidly in the weeds for the rest of the night. Since I had a full section of my own, I had to scoot and scuttle about to catch up. People were understanding. Most of the tables were sufficiently happy, but not as satisfied as I would have liked them to be with their service. The 14 top went fairly smoothly for the rest of the night, other than every food needing to be very specifically done, so I had to stress about incorrectly inputting their food. I didn't want any more hiccups for this table, as they already had a crummy one at the start of the night. Then came the bill for the 14 top. Finally got the kids correlated to the correct parents, and the bill split. Frazzled and off my game, I made an error. I had moved the beers from the seat of the couple that got soaked, but hadn't moved it to another check. It printed as being on the tab. Whoops. For the first time of my serving career, I had someone threaten me. The husband pulled me aside, in summary told me,
"I see you charged us for the beers, and if they stay there, we won't take care of you when we leave."
It felt more sinister than it was probably meant, but it still hurt what little pride I have. I apologized and immediately corrected the ticket. They tipped 20%, but man, I was just glad the night was done and they were gone. Here's to the bad nights that remind how good most of them are. Hey everybody, Hellfreezer here, and thank you very much for listening to Spinning Plates number 54. And thank you very much to everybody who allowed me to use their stories in this video. Well, this video was assisted by some medicinal ice cream. It's still quite warm and clammy right now, so I was being very sluggish and lethargic today, with a bit more work to do than usual. But it's amazing, you know, how quick a narrator can go when they're kept cool. We're like puppies like that. Let's just hope the next video is as quick to make. Well, not make, after record the audio, then editing, and it's a long, complicated process. Okay, let's see. You guys get this Saturday. I will be eagerly awaiting various news coming from Comic-Con, but I will try and slip in... That sounds dirty. I will try and hammer... No, wait a minute. I'll try and do a nice big long stream this weekend. Yeah, that's much cleaner. Okay, so until next time, thank you very much for listening, and take very good care of yourselves.